So it is very important to reintroduce Dr. John Obiawe to you. Those that know me know that I'm a technocrat through and through. But I also want to appreciate those that should be appreciated openly and audibly. Dr. John Obiawe has surely earned her stripes. When I met her in 2016, she didn't have any wrinkle on her face. I don't think we are giving her wrinkles. But beautiful wrinkles anyway. So, as we're finishing this tenure strongly, we must acknowledge people that have passionately given their all. Dr. John Obiawe is one of those people that have passionately given their all. You may not like her methods, but she's achieving results, and those stripes she has earned. Please put your hands again together for her. Welcome, Honorable Commissioner. I don't know if you're ready to come up and welcome your guest. And please, as she comes up to the podium, let us usher her on again with a resounding round of applause. Wonderful woman, wonderful professional, beautiful through and through. Thank you, students. Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Good job, you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being late. Nature, so I feel a bit uncomfortable coming in late. As you know, this is our pre-week for our education week, and there's a lot of activities going on, and the current strike has thrown a spanner into our wheel, or whatever they call it. And so I've been trying to resolve a couple of things. We have quite a number of our international guests talk in Lagos. So trying to make sure we bring them to Benin by road. So it's part of what I've been dealing with. So my apologies. I want to start by our board of CVET, ably led by our Dr. Cecilia Onyulako. I can't thank you people enough, particularly Dr. Cecilia, the leadership and direction and purpose that you have brought to the board. Technical education is very important to His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki. In 2016, after he was sworn in as governor, the first state-owned institution that he visited was Benin Technical College. So technical importance to the governor. And in the last 7 or so years, we've been moving along, trying to get clarity to understand how we technical students. And among the first thing we did was to do what we call disarticulation. Basically separating what at the time was called pre-voc from vocational. We didn't want a situation where we call it a technical school, that we do everything but technical education. So if you want to go to a secondary school, go to secondary school. If you want to go to a technical school, then let it be known that you are in a technical school. Unfortunately for us, the federal government policy of recognizing, is it the MBC exam? In lieu, NAPSET, thank you. In lieu of WAEC or NECO. for admission into tertiary institutions also helped us. So with the disarticulation, it meant that all the pre-voc classes, also known as JSS 1 to 3, were completely removed. It took a bit of work and convincing parents and other stakeholders, but we needed to do it. And I'm very happy that we have now repositioned civic education in Edo. Equally important is the quality of the teaching and learning they will get. We recognize that it is government cannot outdo the organized private sector or industry when it comes to technical expertise, when it comes to innovation, and so on and so forth. Which is why we are all here today. To begin that process of engaging you, our partners who are representatives of the organized private sector in Edo State. We are desirous of working with credible businesses and organizations in our state and beyond to provide the right kind of workplace experiences for our students. We have looked at pivots done in other countries around the world, and a common feature that we see in other countries is the fact that it is industry that really does the training, not government. And so we want to follow that global best practice. We are not saying we are not going to be doing any training in our schools, but we are recognizing that we have limitations. And instead of waiting years, maybe even decades, to bridge that gap and erase that limitation, we've decided that why don't we leapfrog by having a closer and more robust relationship with you, members of the organized private sector in Edo. So I am so thrilled to see this call still today. I see quite a number of familiar faces, and I also see many unfamiliar faces. And I want to say to the board, our board of CVED, good job you. I also want to appreciate our partners, particularly GIZ. Where is GIZ? Oh, hello GIZ. Thank you so much on behalf of all of us. The education ecosystem and the Edo State government. I want to thank you. He's a wonderful partner, a wonderful, you provided immense resources and technical support. In fact, everyone, let me opportunity to GIZ have supported the board for the big things, policy issues, and even for other things that might be considered intermediate. One of those areas that is supported the board is this our EduChef finale that is happening on Friday at the Victor Whitefield Hall. Let me use this opportunity to invite all of you. And GIZ has provided over 5 million naira worth of gifts for the students who are participating in this EduChef finale. And these are students from our technical schools at Usugbenu, Ibra, Eastern Central, and Benin Technical College, Igor local government area. So the students in our catering craft practice department have, been part of this competition. And for us, it's not just a competition. There is a bigger purpose to it. We are trying to make technical education more attractive to many more young people. We are trying to teach that technical education is for those who are not very smart. The reality of our society, of our country today, has shown that no longer the case. For example, studied pharmacy. University for how many years, this pharmacy, and today she now so slow. Could she not have just gone into sewing from the very beginning? or is it my head is emphasizing on with all the training opportunities that have been made available to young people and women in Edo State? I want to thank our other partners, the Chinese business community. Thank you very much, particularly unveiling steel company, which we signed a tripartite agreement between them and our polytechnic, Edo State Polytechnic, and two of the Fuzhou Polytechnic China and Changsri Polytechnic China. I'm happy to see that members of our education ecosystem are also here. Our College of Education, I see you. We also have a campus at Igwebe, focusing on training teachers to become. Our Polytechnic is also here represented. I see our College of Health, Technology, College of Nursing, and who else is here that I can't see? Agric, College of Agriculture. So it's all intertwined. So even though these students are going to different schools, when they graduate, they can go to Polytechnic, they can go to our College of Education, they can go to our university. So we are trying to create a very, very clear pathway still with the right option for them. NAPTEP, MBC, thank you very much. Now, Benzema, thank you very much for your support, and all the other organizations that are here represented. It is my pleasure once again to be here with you all, and shortly we expect the arrival of His Excellency. And before I hand over the mic, let me also use this opportunity to invite all of you to our Education Week. The Education Week proper starts on Monday, June 10th. All through the week, it will be at Victor Waifo Creative Hub. But tomorrow is the opening ceremony of our International Book and Art Festival. And in addition to our international guests, we also want you people, our homegrown guests, to also come, and particularly those of you that are vendors. There are opportunities at the exhibition hall for you to also exhibit your wares, whether they are books or artwork or food or whatever. You can go over to Mr. Whitehall Creative Hub to get more information. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
Please, another round of applause for our Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, for this wonderful remark. Indeed, we've seen the transformation that has happened in the education ecosystem within this administration. So we really thank you, and we are happy to see all of this. Our Honorable Commissioner talked about a lot of things, talked about the reforms that are taking place in Edo's education ecosystem, and the repositioning of TVET. A lot of reforms has happened in the education subsector, the TVET subsector, and also the disarticulation and all of that. These are very wonderful reforms that will help the education system and also the TVET landscape in Edo State. So another round of applause for our Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much. So, Honorable Commissioner, we have here present private sector actors. We have representative from Presco. We have representatives from the Yongzheng Steel Company. We have representative from the North China Construction Company. And we have the organized private sector here represented by the President, Barrister Austin Ataku. We have other dignitaries and representatives from the small scale, large scale, and medium scale businesses in Edo State, all to grace this occasion. So thank you all for coming, and Honorable Commissioner, thank you for being here. So quickly, we'll move to the next item on the agenda. And just before I go into that, I would just like to give a little context, to this. So GIZ have been in Edo State for a while now, and we've been doing a lot around TVET, and we are collaborating with the Edo State government to see that TVET becomes more attractive for young people. And we are also seeing how we can work around improving standards in terms of curriculum and standards for training for the delivery of demand-driven TVET in Edo State. I'm speaking this way because I am from GIZ, so I'm just trying to give a context to this. So quickly we would like to have a presentation from our head of component TVET, GIZ style. It's going to be a virtual presentation. She couldn't be here because the airports were locked yesterday. So please, it's going to be a virtual presentation. So she's going to be taking us through around the topics demand-driven and competency-based programs, the benefit of private sector involvement. I believe that's why we are here, to see how we can chart a course for strengthening collaboration between the private sector and the public sector in TVET. So, media, are you ready?
It's a great pleasure for me to have
media, are you ready?
Here with you, online, at the launch of the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy. I am happy to give a short input on the topic of the benefits of private sector involvement in TVET. Thanks for your attention, and thanks to my colleagues who contributed to the presentation and the organization of today's launch. Next slide. The content of my presentation is structured in 6 parts. In the first part, I intend creating a common understanding of TVET, the relevant stakeholders, and its mechanisms. After the short introduction, I'd like to take you on an excursion abroad, specifically to the 4 countries where DualVet as a system is successfully and since many years implemented: Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. I will present briefly the main pillars of the solid DualVet system, the characteristics, and the success factors. From Europe back to Edo State. We have a joint look to the phase of reflection and to one of the outcomes that we launched today, the Edo State Technical Talent Policy. In my presentation, I will then show the variety of models and approaches of TVET and present how the various stakeholders in Edo State will benefit of involving the private sector in the TVET system. We will then leave Edo State, and I will give a brief insight in 2 countries in Africa that we follow the TVET system, and also work in collaboration with implementers who are mandated to support the government and who are financed by Germany and Switzerland. Finally, I will end with a short overview of the output of SKY and the potential areas of support in Edo State. Next slide, please. As mentioned before, this very first part intends to emphasize the importance of the common understanding. Competencies and stakeholders, supply and demand in TVET. The title of the slide reflects the interdependence of supply and demand in the context of TVET. A strong economy has a functioning labor market. A functioning labor market means that employees are suitably qualified to perform the necessary work and are worth the money their employers pay for them. So good workers have relevant skills, knowledge, and appropriate attitudes for work and life in general. The world of education and the world of work, the local society, culture, politics, all of them have different preferences, potential, and expectations. It is now a matter of determining in an appreciation process who is responsible for which content to meet demand in the best possible way. As mentioned, we will have a brief excursion to the dual vocational training. Dual VET has a long tradition in Germany, Liechtenstein, Austria, and Switzerland. Thanks to the practical and labor market relevant training courses, young people from dual systems are particularly successful in entering to the world of work. Dual VET is therefore seen as an important reason for the low youth unemployment in these countries. In the past, attempts have been made to introduce and develop dual systems in other countries and other contexts, without a corresponding tradition. Today, there is a broad consensus that the dual TVET system cannot be transferred as a complete system. Nevertheless, there are characteristics and success factors that can also serve as a helpful reference for other countries and contexts. But what are these characteristics and how are they implemented in the 4 countries? A key feature is the joint commitment of the relevant stakeholders of TVET. As you can see on the slide, the commitment is based on joint principles. The decision is to govern TVET collectively, to share responsibility for TVET. TVET should be practice-related and of high quality and standardized. The standards in TVET must be requirements-oriented and current. TVET is a prerequisite for a competitiveness in the global market. Now, on the next slide, I will quickly present the characteristics of the dual VET. Dual VET is understood in all 4 countries as TVET program that takes place in at least two places of learning, therefore dual, namely on the job, in particularly at the company workplace, and off the job, in particular at the vocational school or technical school and in training centers. It leads to a full vocational qualification and therefore also is a multi-year training program. The focus is on practical vocational training at the company, workplace training and basic skills, as well as vocational theory and general education content at the vocational school and training center. The practical training in the company clearly predominates in terms of scope, and the companies and their associations, organizations and interest groups play a key role in shaping the dual vocational training system. So a trainee is 3 to 4 days per week working in the company as an employee, and 1 to 2 days the trainee is at the vocational school. As said before, the success factors are not limited to dual VET and can and should be considered in other TVET systems too. I will now give you some description of the most important success factors. One we start with is the alternating learning. By learning both at school and in the work process, trainees not only acquire the corresponding technical and social competences, but also the skills and abilities to put these into practice. This makes them more employable on the labor market following their training. Next success factor of dual VET is the role of the private sector. The shared responsibility of public and private partners ensures the systematic involvement of the private sector in the development of occupational profiles, in the development of curricula, in training, in the examination system, and in the management and financing of TVET. This ensures that the vocational skills and competencies acquired meet the needs of the economy, which are in demand on the labor market after completion of training. The companies themselves decide how many and which people are trained for which profession, and that not only meets the needs of the economy in terms of content, but also in terms of quantity. As the next, please go back with the slide. As the next success factor, we have the social recognition of the standards. The social recognition of dual vet and its qualifications is an important element for its attractiveness and success. It is closely linked to the quality and opportunities for further training. This in turn requires a TVET system that allows a high degree of flexibility despite standardization. Only in this way can training be adapted to economic development and the system can be further developed. A next success factor, qualification of training institutions and personnel. Training institutions that are efficient in terms of personnel, technology and organization as well, and well-trained vocational training staff in the companies form the basis for high-quality teaching and learning processes. We come to the next success factors of dual vocational education training. It will be the community funding. Compared to school-based forms of TVET, dual vet is more cost-effective for the state because the companies bear a substantial part of the training cost. At the same time, many companies also benefit financially from the training, in some sectors even during the training, through a relatively long initial training period, otherwise afterwards through the availability of qualified junior staff. The last success factor is the broad target focus. A well-functioning, mature vocational training system covers the following target dimensions, 3 of them. Economic goals, productivity, competitiveness, and quality. The second, social objectives, education and social integration. And last and least, the individual goals, work and income for each of them, mobility, personal development, and career. Next slide, please. Now, we have a look to Edo State and its context. As said before, dual vet systems are not supposed to be transferred to other countries and contexts. One of the reasons for this is that education systems are always anchored in their respective contexts and have grown historically. But other TVET systems can consider including elements of dual vet and benefit from the experiences. Again, the probability of success of dual approaches is closely linked to the existing framework conditions. This includes economic development and the degree of formalization of the local economy, as well as the structure and acceptance of existing vocational training programs. Edo State has identified the need for human capital development in the state and made TVET and employment promotion one of the top priorities. Edo has been working intensively on the question of how to prevent youth unemployment and strengthen the economy as a whole. Edo recognized that the needs of the industry must be aligned with education and training provision. Accordingly, the policy states clearly that vocational education and training programs have to be demand-driven and competency-based. Now, let us see how the TVET system in Edo can be described. The terminology to describe TVET systems is not uniform. Similar systems may go under different names, and similar names may be used for different systems. Therefore, the types of TVET systems need to be classified and the terminology explained. A useful starting point for classification is the degree of school-based versus on-the-job training built into the respective TVET system. This leads to the following continuum that you can see, with exclusively school-based TVET at one extreme, and on the other side, exclusively on-the-job training at the other side. You can see on your left side the category 1. In all the three types, from 1.1 to 1.3, the learner has the status of a student. The curriculum and qualification are defined by public authorities, and the TVET school or the TVET center is responsible for implementing it and determining the type of learning and for assessment. The next category, the two dark orange ones, are the ones where the responsibility is shared between the private and the public sector, the dual VET, as I referred before. On your right side, you have the category 3, where the apprentice learns in an informal context side by side with a master craftsman, and the apprenticeship does not lead to a formal qualification. Types 1.2 to 2.2 correspond to the dual concept, but to varying degrees. The dual concept is a pedagogic principle which applies, please go back with the slide. The dual concept is a pedagogic principle which applies whenever school-based learning and work-based learning are combined. Hence, including small elements of hands-on practical training in a predominantly school-based TVET system already satisfies this concept. For this reason, the type 1.3 training at TVET school with internships also reflects the dual concept to some extent. The arrows show the model chosen by Edo State. Now, what is the benefit for Edo to involve the private sector, which includes the Chamber of Commerce, business associations and trade unions, employers and sector skills council? Let me show how the main stakeholders benefit in different ways with the next slide, please. Youth have a higher mobility. They have recognized certificates, higher employability, the personal growth through real work experience because they are learning while earning. TVET institutions have the benefit as the closeness to the actual demand in the labor market is there, the more relevant programs are offered. Further education and updates for in-company trainers and teachers are given. And for the private sector itself, the benefits are already happening during and or after TVET, securing skilled workers for the future and the boosting of productivity and others. For the government, more attractive and relevant education offered for the public is given, more productivity and higher tax revenue should result, less costly in the long run. In each context, formal TVET or and informal apprenticeship, the concrete involvement or intensity for each of the areas of engagement needs to be carefully defined and negotiated among all the involved actors. This process requires mutual trust and time, which often needs to be built in a continuous dialogue, as yesterday's PPDP. At the same time, such an approach must be well embedded in the local context with a high level of ownership by all the stakeholders. Next slide, please. I would like us now to have a look to other countries and other contexts. We start to have a look to Kenya, where the dual VET started to be implemented for some trades. The duality of the learning venues company and school is indispensable for dual VET and training. And dual VET is a collaborative endeavor and needs funds. Without association, dual VET will not work in the long term. And as we all know, in many countries, however, the level of organization in the private sector is low and associations are weak. So now, in the sample of Kenya and in other countries, a start might be done by forming informal clusters. In Kenya, that was the trades of plumbing and electrician that are implemented as a dual vet, and the related private sector is very strongly involved. As you can see, the involvement of the companies is key in defining the skills that apprentices need to acquire and providing them with the opportunity to put into practice what they have learned. But again, rather than importing the dual vet system, better foster qualification that also promotes personal development and social competence, and in addition to focusing on skills knowledge, also includes professional socialization. Next slide, please. Where we now heard from Kenya, who is reforming the TVET system and is piloting with dual vet, we here have a look to Ghana, who is now working on the transformation of its own TVET system and aligns its offers with labor market needs. Key is here. Green and digital issues play a key role together with the involvement of the private sector. Please find more information in the sources to the stated good practice and additional relevant websites. The sources are listed in the presentation and the slides can be shared with you. This brings me to the next and last slide that informs you about the output of our program, SKY. The German and Swiss governments mandated SKY to achieve several outputs. Some are related to TVET. SKY 2 has a duration until October 2026 and implements in 6 states. Let me read the outputs for you. SKY wants to support relevant actors in TVET to submit proposals for measures to promote TVET and employment. SKY wants to support the improvement of TVET in terms of its demand-oriented, competency-based provision in selected economic sectors. SKY wants to support structures for the sustainable training of TVET personnel and foster and support the establishment of the cooperation between TVET institutions and the private sector. SKY plans together with the respective states how its support related to the respective output indicators can be defined and realized in an optimal manner for the states. We are happy to continue with the collaboration with you in Edo State. Thank you for your attention.
We can do better than that. Thank you very much. That's the input from the head of component, GIZ Sky, the head of component, TVET. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not about credentials. It is about what? It is about what? It is about skills. TVET is not TVET without the private sector. True of us? TVET is not TVET without the private sector. True of us? Thank you. All right, so Rachel is still online. We just want to take the next few minutes to interact very briefly in case we have questions. And then also, most importantly, I want to believe that private sector companies present here, you have inputs to make. You want to lend your voice to the discussion that is on the floor. Yes, so you can just indicate by raising up your hands if it's a question you have, or you want to make comments, you want to make contributions, and then we will recognize you. Thank you. Questions? Comments? contribution. I'll come to you if you don't want to. All right, I'll come to the rector, Hussein Polytechnic. What's your take regarding the subject that is being discussed?
Thank you very much. Like our Executive Secretary earlier stated, for the now, this is what the world is talking about. And as a country and as a state, we cannot be left out. And that is why those state is taking the lead in technical talent development, because we tend to make Edo State the hub of technical talent. And the very first step to getting this realized is bringing a platform where the industry, academics, and other stakeholders will interact so that everybody will come to a point that this is what we need, and we identify how to go about it, which is one of the primary purposes for which we are gathered here today. And to make this very easy for everybody, a policy has been put in place for which both the academics, the industries can anchor and serve as a guide for us to run with without encountering so many difficulties that serve as limitations. So we gathering here today is a very first step to realizing this vision. Thank you.
Edo is becoming the go-to destination for technical talent sourcing. Yes, sir. We'd like you to lend your voice to the discussion that is on the table. TVET is not TVET without the private sector, and we have the private sector present here today.
Thank you very much. My name is Peter Obaseki. I'm the chairman of Edo Micro, Small, and Medium Scale Enterprises Funds within Edo State Skills Development Agency. In that role, I am very, very interested in the work of TVET. And the Honorable Commissioner for Education has also given me some informal opportunity to look at what has been going on with TVET. I believe a lot in youth transformation. And I believe that the way to transform youth and deal with wide-scale unemployment is to balance formal education, which is knowledge seeking, with skills development, and also to realize that there is acute shortage of skills development. I totally appreciate what His Excellency Governor Gordon Obaseki has started in this area. It's a major gap, and I believe that it will take multi-stakeholders approach to close the gap. So well done. I also appreciate that the scheme is both formal and informal. The formal channel is very clear. After your first 9 years of education, you can go into a technical school or a regular secondary school. However, the Mastercraft program, appeals very much to me because we have Mastercrafts men who are becoming very few. You have furniture makers, you have mechanics, and the rest of them who are not necessarily in the formal sector. And we can tap into them to train very rapidly, including training illiterates in the various communities and in the rural areas. So I'm looking forward to see a very balance between my channel, which will address the future, and then present problems with illiterate, unskilled members of societies in both urban and rural areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obasaki, for the beautiful inputs. While the commissioner was giving a remark, she talked about pharmacy turned tailor. All right? I have here a medical doctor by training, but not a doctor by practice. He's an engineer by practice. Yes, I want Dr. Brighton's or Dr. Bright Ogemoyi to lend his voice to the conversation that is on the table. CVET, the way to go.
Yes, it's true. We're also one of those who read different professions and doing so well in other professions. Yes, I'm a doctor by profession. I read dentistry, University of Benin. I'm a UDB distinguished alumnus. But I'm an electrical electronics inventor. Not just an electrical electronics inventor. I'm also a farmer. I'm also a farmer to have industrial farms. Yes, I must say, first, I'm happy to be here, and I'm also happy to contribute my own form of experience we've gathered in the private sector where we've been involved. I think for more than 12 years now, we've been involved in training and retraining and impacting people from different walks of life who comes to our company for practical-oriented programs. We discovered that we are having a lot of lacuna now in the university formal system of training where we see a lot of people come with too much theoretical experience. But when you engage them to put their hands on the practicals, you see them struggling, honestly struggling. And in trying to bridge that gap, we discovered that one of the reasons we'll be part of TVET is because it will create an opportunity where trainings will be impacted on people to acquire basic skills, and which I know, looking at the way it is going, is quite impressive. In fact, listening to the speaker who made his PowerPoint presentation, Rachel, I was really impressed to see that we are now trying to do what we call certificate, not certificate. And I must appreciate the Edo State government for this wonderful, innovative ideas. And I must thank Madam, the Commissioner of Education present, for bringing this dream to reality. And now we are not going to see a situation whereby people who go to technical schools, apart from being able to read and write, because it's also a formal set of education, they will be able to put that impact where we are not going to see where we can start catching them young, where we can identify people with skills. Because I also suffer from this type of embarrassment because while in secondary school, I was involved in building toys. When I built toys those days, I would take them to the then board of, what they call it, those EBS trade fair, which is now the board of internal revenue. I built toys in school, take them. When I sell those toys, you won't know they were locally made, you know. But my parents have the belief that no, you must be a doctor. You cannot be an electrician or an engineer, not in this house. So we find ourselves in medical school, but finally we find our way again to the God-given talent. We have been able to train a lot of people
I've been involved in also investing outside university where we imparted training programs, even in University of Benin. The institution whereby now they send some of their students in entrepreneurial department as a program to our company to come and do the real hands-on practical skills, which is what a lot of the youth of nowadays are lacking. And everybody blames the government for not being able to employ everybody, and which originally is impossible. It's actually impossible for the government to be able to employ every single graduate that comes out of the university yearly. So if the government cannot give you the white-collar job, it is your responsibility as an individual to be able to say, if this certificate is not giving me this, then what can I bring to the table? You should be able to have something, a skill you can acquire, a skill you can transmit also to the subsequent generations. And so that's why I am happy to see this drive being driven here. And I know this is the way to go. And this is the only way we can revolutionize the economy and bring industrial-based systems where we will now have a lot of small, medium-scale enterprise creating self-employed individuals and most importantly, student entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bright. TVET is the way to go. All right, there is a very valid point that he made, and I want to stress that point. And that has to do with parents compelling children to certain disciplines. Hello? Yes, parents, please, let's take notes. TVET is very, very profitable. Children don't need to study medicine to become something in life. Not just medicine, not just nursing. There are other profitable technical professions. Let's guide our children aright. A round of applause for ourselves once again. Yes, we'll continue with our interaction, and now I would want to bet my sheep. Yeah. Mr. Noma, from private sector perspective, your input.
All right. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned before, I am the chairman of NASI, and NASI is a member of the organized private sector. So we are actually at the demand side of the labor market. So before now, you will see maybe a company, they want to hire maybe a marketer. So they are looking for someone who probably read marketing in maybe any of the tertiary institutions. But today, the kind of skills we require in our workplaces is changing. So I would rather hire someone who has knowledge in digital marketing rather than just somebody who is a marketer and is ready to sell my products at the local market. I would like to go global, by getting someone who has knowledge of digital marketing to take my product to all the nooks and crannies of this world. People are already looking at smart ways of doing jobs. People are looking at artificial intelligence. How do I make my work easier, faster, and more profitable? So, like I mentioned earlier, the future of work and the demand for labor right now is changing, and there is a wide gap. So I believe that at the end of this deliberation, those gaps will close. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am Irugbe Ehimare Emmanuel. I'm a waste manager. We have gone past the aspect of picking and disposing waste. We are now talking of waste recycling plants, which we are already doing in Edo State. But I'm here this morning because of my community. So if we are talking of things like this, they must be community-based. I'm the Vice President of Ewu Development Association, led by Professor Eunice Omozije. We look at what we're having in our community. We have free school by virtue of our son, Chris Oyakilome, who brought free school, free feeding, everything. When you say free, uniform, sandals, everything from beginning to the end. They are trained. Then we have the flower mill that need the technical hands. We have Parks Herbal Medicine, the clinic at Ewu by St. Benedict Catholic Church. But we are seeing our children roaming around the street. Many of them have finished from Eboman, they have no job, they have nothing. So the association, the community association, decided that we should go into vocational and technical education for these persons. That was how we have to approach them at Federal Secretariat. Eventually, my sister here in NAPTEP was also discussed with. So what I'm saying in essence is anything we are doing here, let's take it to our community level, not just at this academic level. We have a university at Irua, Mujame University. I'm surprised they are not here now. That deals specifically on technical education. The man tried to set up a polytechnic for welding education, but eventually turned into a university, which we are taking advantage of. So in that sense, if we don't take this thing to the level of our children, whether literate, whether illiterate, at the community level, we'll just be at the discussion level like this. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for him. Let's take the discussion beyond this place. Let's take it to the community level. Let's do a lot of sensitization. Let's do a lot of awareness creation around TVET so that people will perceive TVET the way they should perceive it, and more people will embrace TVET. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to come to Okomo PLC. Yes. So needs is in your organization. When we're talking about TVET, we've been talking about the need to have young people work in companies as part of learning. What are the opportunities for young people in the organizations for training?
My name is Saipon Sumbo, and I'm the Human Resources Manager for Komoe Palm Company. Just want to say that I'm one of the very many people who missed their way into a different profession. I went to Benin Technical College, where I studied building and carpentry. But today, I'm in the office working as a human resources manager.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let's rise to our feet as we make welcome the Deputy Governor of our state, Mr. Omobayo Godwin. A round of applause for the Deputy Governor, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I will then now invite the... Okay. All right, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. The Deputy Governor is engineer and by profession engineer Omobayo, engineer Marvelous Godwin Omobayo. Thank you. All right, so we'll continue with our discussion. I'm very sorry to interrupt you then. So, yes, please, we'll come back to you, sir. Yes.
Okay, as I was saying, I graduated from Benin Technical College and went to the university. And if I had Commissioner Joan Obiawe as Commissioner of Education at that time, she would have probably introduced this articulation, and I probably would have been a pure engineering person today. But for my company, the biggest problem we have, and I think this event is going to solve, is getting people in the skilled level manpower to use to work in the farm. Every day we look for good carpenters, we look for good mechanics, we look for good air conditioner and refrigerator people. We don't find. So I'm very, very happy this is happening today, and I know that if we wait a little, maybe from next year when the results start to come out, we'll be able to find enough people to work in our farm. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for him. What we are doing here today, we birth a greater Edo state. Yes. Contributions?
Thank you so much. I'll stand on existing protocols. My name is Mira Bene Hayamo. I'm the Executive Director, Doers Upliftment Foundation. And I really do appreciate what our Honorable Commissioner said today and the Executive Secretary of the TVET. But I think we still need to add certain things. This is just an addition from me. We all agree that we don't just want a technician coming to fix our roof or fix one or two things in our homes. We also want them to have policy, respect, be polite. So I do not know the extent at which this curriculum has been built, and I do not know how the report card of the TVET is being graded, but I just want to lend my voice. There are three ways we grade, which is the cognitive, the psychomotor skills, and the affection. Now, for the psychomotor skills, which is what the TVET is about, I think there should be more of affection in it, in the sense that the grading of this student should not just be within the classroom. The cognitive should take 50%, the entirety of what they are doing, the chemistry, the physics, whatever it is in the classroom. When the students are aware that my being in this place, learning this skill, it will add and reflect in my report card, I think they will take it more seriously. Now, we are complaining that we have kids around that are not respectful, that are not, giving the best of attitude. And this is how the Western world grows. The first three things they are taught is, I am sorry, please, and thank you. So this is what we are promoting as part of our initiative, as DOOF Edu initiative at our foundation. So my voice is this: let the TVET team also add to the report card whatsoever they are going to be teaching them, the skills they are going to be acquiring. It should be graded in their report card. And the affection, that's where we talk about being polite, being admissive, being interactive, negotiation skills, should not just be graded within the four walls of the classroom, should be graded also at their different places of skill acquisition. Thank you very much.
Very valid points, but I'll quickly want to respond to that the entire TVET curriculum is very holistic. You're sure it has been factored in already, and more so considering the fact that these young people are not just going to be limited to the four walls of the classroom. Part of their training is that they will go to companies, they will learn a whole lot from companies. Thank you very, very much. Yes, we'll keep the discussion going. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Paul Loyarenwa is my name, the Executive Director of Keros Youth Empowerment Initiative. Actually, I'm really impressed by the Executive Secretary of TVET and what the Commissioner has said. And I'll be waiting for the NAPTEP to say something concerning the NSQ. But since they have not said anything concerning it, I want to say that there is what is called the NSQ. Edo State is on the front run right now, running with this program. And what it means is that Edo State have keyed in into the policy that is currently going on in the country. There is a program so far called the National Skill Qualification Program. The National Skill Qualification Certification enables those who have skills to get certificate that is equivalent to degree, equivalent to master's, and equivalent to PhD. And the Auchi Polytechnic, Federal Polytechnic Auchi, have been empowered to handle this program in the South region. So I expect the NAPTEP to actually throw more light on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I request that we stand on our feet as we make welcome the Executive Governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Noriegase Obaseki. A round of applause for the Governor. You can do better than that. A round of applause. A resounding round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We can do better than that. Beautiful lines indeed. Our founding fathers have labored, and the time to serve is now. The future of Edo depends on every one of us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite the Executive Secretary to the TVET board to the podium to once again set the context as to why we are all here. Dr. Pesia Nyalaku. A round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, Governor Godwin Obaseki, the Executive Governor of Edo State, Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Engineer Omopayo Godwins, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. John Osa Ovawe, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, distinguished private sector actors, once again, I would recap on what I did earlier to set the context very briefly of why we are here and what the outcomes of this engagement should be. Your Excellency, you gave us marching instructions to go out there and ensure that technical and vocational education works for the Edo citizen. This is the first step in that direction. Please put your hands again for His Excellency. Why I said you should put your hands together for His Excellency is that in a very short time, a lot has been achieved. Benin Technical College rehabilitation, when I say rehabilitation, it means total infrastructure and equipment is ongoing right now. Please put your hands together for that. His Excellency has supported us immensely in this mandate that he has charged us with. And he didn't stop at Benin Technical College. We have other technical colleges in Afuze, in Igara, in Iroa, and in Eho. And I am also happy to inform you that His Excellency has approved the refurbishment of these 4 technical colleges, including Benin Technical College, and we are to ensure that this is delivered. We are also happy to inform you that His Excellency is massively committed. And as an actor within this space, I am super excited to also inform you that we are going to have additional technical talent. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today as a culmination of preliminary efforts across the education ecosystem that gave birth to the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy, which you graciously approved and will be launching today. Why should we be bothered? We are bothered because there is demand, and then we have a surging population of young people, energetic and brilliant, and we can, just as you've instructed, redirect that energy to contributing positively in our socioeconomic reality. And to that effect, stakeholder intervention. It can't be government alone. And when I was highlighting efforts by government, I was bringing to the table the fact that government is committed and government is going in the right direction. But Your Excellency, here we have the cream de la cream of the private sector in Edo State, from large, medium to small. And they have come here in acknowledgement of the commitment that we are going to work together, government and private sector, to ensure that Edo State achieves that dream of being the choice destination. So if we are thinking technical talent in Nigeria, we want to see a situation where in the next 4 years, every 2 persons out of 5 recruited in the technical space should be identified from Edo State. We also want to key into this new surging demand of international, from Europe and America, saying that they want technical talent. We want to ensure that Edo State represents at least 2 in 5 persons that are legally migrating responsibly to Europe and America. Conclusively, to that effect, we have taken a cursory look at what is existing, and we have come up with where we should be and the directions we should go. So this diagram represents what we have put together as Edo State TVET system, and it comprises 2 major pathways of learning. One is the school-based system through the technical colleges that you are graciously supporting and improving. And down there in orange color represents a work-based learning pathway that will represent apprenticeships and traineeships. With apprenticeships and traineeships, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the private sector has agreed here that we are going to work hand in hand. And Your Excellency, you will also be launching some of the preliminary initiatives that we have with some of the companies that are already uptaking Edo citizens as apprentices and trainees within their production floors. But you will see by the left and the right that at the heart of this system is technical competence and academic learning. These are Siamese twins. We want a situation where if you are being technically trained, you are practically sound and at the same time academically sound. So it is not a one straight jacket. It is a combination of both. But we have also visualized that there are cross-cutting interventions that need to revolve around our core technical and vocational development systems. And we identify these as continuing professional development to ensure that teachers are developed and at cutting edge of their practice to be able to impact. We have said that we will no longer have what we currently refer to as computer labs. We are converting all our existing computer labs to digital resource hubs that will ensure that ICT innovation training and certification services are available within our technical colleges for both students and the community. We also envisage an agribusiness hub. We want to take advantage of the current situation we have. We have some land across our technical colleges, and every time I am asked to bring money to cut grass. And I said, no, we shouldn't be cutting grass. We should be growing crops. So we're bringing in greenhouse farming and hydroponics, which is vertical farming of water, to ensure that our students in technical college are encouraged to learn how these technologies work. They will grow vegetables and sell it and keep the money. This is part of their learning outcomes, because if money is being made, then school becomes very important. Okay, the Deputy Governor was clapping for me now. If people didn't clap. Thank you very much, Deputy Governor. We also have, we are conscious that continuous private sector development is key. We cannot have, the school system will never deliver until we know exactly what the private sector says they want. So we want to have a continuous engagement with the private sector to ensure that curriculum is enriched and workplace experience opportunities are available. We also see that we have a need to have a competency assessment hub. With this competency assessment hub, apart from the nationally recognized certification that our learners would obtain after graduation, we want to introduce them to professional certification. So if you're in welding and fabrication, we want you to also obtain the professional certification from International Welding Association before you graduate. We want you to also obtain some international certifications that will enable you migrate with a globally recognized certification. So in addition to what they would obtain, we want them to have more. After all, the curriculum is similar, and it will not be belaboring students to do this. Lastly, we want to encourage and catalyze an aptitude for entrepreneurship. So we think that enterprise development, by ensuring our technical college workshops and laboratories are available as production sites. So we will not just be teaching within our workshops will take up for-profit jobs from the community, deliver them, and we want to put together a kind of model that would ensure every student cohort that participates in a task, money comes back to their pocket. A teacher that participates, money gets to their pocket. And we want to ensure that technical colleges, no matter how little, start contributing to Edo State IGR. I have spoken too much. If I stay here, I will talk and talk and talk, because I'm so excited. And thank you very much, Honorable John Ovawi, and thank you very much, Your Excellency, for giving us this opportunity to do the best that we could, now and continuously so. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause. Okay, thank you very much. At this point, we want to call on the Edo State Technical College students for their rendition. So students, please, you can kindly come forward for your spoken word rendition. Thank you very much. All right, students, you can hold on. We'll call you back. Thank you very much. So it's a privilege to welcome this afternoon His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State. Please, shall we rise up as we receive on the podium our Governor, His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki. Another round of applause for him.
I hope we are not preaching the directive of NLP and here. But let me start by recognizing that we also and in our mobile the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. John Obiawe, and Honorable Secretaries who are here, the Registrar and CEO of the National Business and Technical Economic Board, Professor Matthew Silva, and the MD, CEO of Multi-Finance Construction, and chairman of PPP, representative for Chamber of Commerce, additional role as MD, private sector organizations, team leaders, stakeholders, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Since I assumed office we have focused on one thing and one thing: our people. Because we're empowered because of the citizens of the children of the So our purpose as a government is to ensure that we do all that we can, with the resources we have, to place our people at front line of development and to make them very good from what we do is one major challenge we have to do was irregular migration, mass migration of people. The people who saw it as a very bad thing, yesterday the way they were going about it or anything. But if you look beyond how they travel, with their mindsets, you can tell that these are very aspirational people who want a better life, who need a better outside, and they will do anything to get there, get a better life. And rather than condemning them, we look inwards to say, how can we meet their solution? If you create at home what they are going to do for outside, they will stay back home. And they will use this energy and this brilliance to develop home. And in that quest, we will find our partners who will really love in this project in the last 7 or more years. Because we cannot look at this problem in totality. We cannot talk about technical and vocational education without talking about basic education. For us, we have to start from the foundation to lay the base of everything else to start. So for the first 4.5 years, our focus was on consolidating the foundation of the business. To make sure that by the time a child has gone through the first 9 years of learning, and in DSS 3, that child is prepared for life. And the foundations for literacy and numeracy, and also life. That's what there was not to be for the first 5 years of life. The next thing, and all that, you can see what a child will look like and think. We'll say, what are the pathways for this child in the future? Yes, it's great to have certificates. But certificates in themselves will not be used. So, we said to ourselves, by the time a child is 15 and begins to think, what are the pathways? Origin, go technical, technology, so that you can employ yourself, so that you can build your own mind. Or, if you're still interested, nothing stops you from going to students get everything going through and then we couldn't have done all these things in this world on our own without partners. So when we look back, after 16 basic education was difficult, was challenging, but we had committed and dedicated people and we were able to do it. We were able to fix our education. Edo State is now one of the accelerator countries in the USA in Africa. Other African countries are looking at what they have done. The next challenge we have is how do we create students that really just and that is where we need the class. How to train the general government and PIC who work well from an early days and the job. Who help us now go back and look at accident control and what the sponsor is very and I think it's and that's what we love to understand how their educational system is based on the event. And that's what has been in general and competitive advantage today in and we said to ourselves, and we will work with us, how can we do without them? Let's take more examples today. That honestly, as a country, we have no choice but to develop because up till now, we have the resources to continue to import all of the things we do. Whatever it is, whether it's the food, the wear, the furniture, the use, the car, the line, everything. Because we have the $1,000 to form this, no efforts on making things today. But we want to disappear. What's now happened is what from that realize that those things we used to go and buy from outside, we must now make outside. And to do that, we need people who know how to do that. Across the spectrum, not only at the University of Exeter or Polytechnic, across the spectrum. And I'll point out data over the and I said, I bring an old that when you find a child between and Jesus, that child will hold more. You must want to do something, use your friends. That's why the way of the house of God and walk. And then after I encourage them to do that. And as I'll point out, it is possible. We should not admit people who are technical who are not for anymore. Whether you are a house now, whether you are working in a hotel, whatever it is, you should always have the word of God for you from it. So today, we are launching those technical talent development policy and our state work and state workplace development program. Because this is the combination of what we started with, that we're going to review, reenact, as you said, entire activity of this. Now these children are progressing to their I would say what next? We want all of them to understand that the education we give them is to make them productive citizens of their society. And to do so, they must acquire skills and vocations for them to perform the highest standards within the society. On the other hand, as a country, we no longer have any choice but to exercise manufacturing and production. What will get us out of the problems we are having today is simply producing more of ourselves. For us to produce more for ourselves, we need to now train more of us to know how to produce more. And we have to start early in life, particularly after the that is what it is. So as government, our role is to provide the framework to provide the infrastructure. But we cannot provide the creator. The role of the private sector would better is that we are training people for you. And therefore, we must co-work the process with us. We are not going to have all the facilities, all the equipment that you have in your different regions. But we can train our children in the buildings, giving them the basic knowledge and the basic orientation. But when you come into your factory, when you come into your the right attitude to cope. I want you to to offer technical training, the colleges, and the local commitment that we want with us to improve the quality of learning and certification in our organization. All of the things for the next. So, because you know what the thing is, they want to have the material to produce more of what we do. So what's happening now? You understand that the next step well in Nigeria, the whole debate from mining or from oil is going to be over. And for us to produce, train people who are taking things. That's what we do in thank all of those who are working on the next thing. Put this together. It is a long while. I understand you will not keep your hand and forget. I will have to do for you for that. Because we will move forward. And we cannot continue to do. My question was, is possible we can see that the good already started. The all we check the program to understand how to go about understand the role of each party, understand the role of government, understand the role of the regulator, understand the role of the international body, and also understand the role of the private sector that both will be together. So when the people are making the money from all of them, and that was I want to welcome all of you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Please, another round of applause. So, Your Excellency, may I invite the Honorable Commissioner for Education to come forward and usher you to unveil our technical talent development policy. Okay, I've been given the fiat to just call His Excellency. Your Excellency, pardon me for getting you off your seat again. Yes, so two things, we'll do it real quick. So all those for work-based learning should come out as His Excellency unveils the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy. Where's the scissors? Yes, so GIZ, please come forward. Edo Skills Development Agency, come forward. Chairman, Public-Private Dialogue Platform, Deputy Governor, sir. Yes, they're coming. They are part of it. So this is Edo Shoe Manufacturing. We are clustering with them in Benin Technical College, and these are things that they've done with their own hands. Yeah, they did all this. Where are those trainees from North China? We have them here. North China Construction Company has graciously offered traineeship positions, funded with 30,000 naira every month. 30,000 naira every month to train on site with the refurbishment work going on in Benin Technical College. Yes. So we'll take commissions. So we have them in plumbing and pipe fitting, electrical installation, carpentry and joinery, and I've forgotten the last trade. What was the last trade? There are 4 areas. Painting and decorating. So, where is the scissors for this? Okay, great. So, Your Excellency, I'm handing over the mic to you to please unveil the policy and also declare our work-based learning program open for all. Thank you very much, sir.
Not China, go on the stage. Go on the stage. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege this afternoon to now formally declare open our work-based learning and talent program in Edo State. I hope everyone here will take away a copy of the Edo State Technical Talent Development Policy, Edo TTDP for short. This is a publication that has been put together by the Edo State Ministry of Education that encourages people to work together, learn together, and grow together. Can everyone take a copy and come and stand with me? Take a group photograph with this young.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, the beginning of a new era has been launched. And we have collectively agreed here that all hands should be on deck, public and private sector, to ensure that Edo State becomes the choice destination for technical talent sourcing in Nigeria and across the globe. We have there some of the areas that we have been able to do a labor market assessment with the support of the GIZ Sky program to identify areas where there is skill demand. Welding and fabrication, we'll have informal apprenticeships, we'll have traineeships with master craftspersons, we'll have plumbing and pipe fitting, and a host of other areas. Earlier in the day, Mr. Obaseki here called me and said, where is the place? This thing looks too elitist. He said, where is the place for the child in the village? And that is true. If you read through literature, there is a worse case of youth unemployment in the rural area more than in the urban area. So yes, we are ensuring that we work with master craftspersons to bring in informal apprenticeship as a veritable pathway to mainstreaming technical and vocational education that they are learning through the informal to the formal. So going forward in the next academic year, technical colleges will have 3 colorations of students. There will be the student who is there for the 3 years program, who has come out of basic education, as His Excellency described. We want to involve the communities more. So we will have short courses. There will be a few weeks, a few months, where people come in and learn hands-on and they leave. With that one, subsidy does not cover you people, you pay. So tell the people who are interested in coming for short courses, this one will charge you. But not too much, because His Excellency has also put small hand there. We won't charge you too much, but you pay for that one. But your 3 years program is completely free. We will also have another kind of student. Henceforth, in the next academic year, you will not see apprentices in your mechanic workshop just looking. There will be students enrolled in technical colleges and they'll be well uniformed. So you would notice that you go to your mechanic workshop and the apprentice has an overall with a badge of Benin Technical College. So we are bringing them into the mainstream. So that services that pathway for youth not in education, employment, or training. Edo State does not have the issue of out-of-school children. I think Edo is like the top 5. Top, sir. We don't have that issue. So, but we have issues of unemployment and of low skills so that we can have that integration. So articulation is key. We are taking, try and visualize this picture with me. The boy serves his master in a corner workshop. We enroll him or her in technical college. So it gives him a sense of being in school. That apprentice is in school, but he's not in the classroom every day. He does his 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the trade. He or she meets the prerequisite for admission into technical college. So what has happened is that we have bridged where this pupil has missed basic education, and we're bringing them in. Now, because we are working with the National Board for Technical Education and the National Board for Business and Technical Examinations, and we are working with the National Board for Technical Education, we want to ensure that the skills that they are learning, the competencies they are gaining, are recognized nationally. So they will have national certifications, and with these national certifications, they will now meet requirements to advance and progress in their career. And naturally, you would agree with me that what we are doing is that we are improving their social outcome, and the prestige will come. And that will continue all the way to the Polytechnic. We'll have our fireside chat. Your Excellency, I don't know if you'll be here for the fireside chat. We'll have these conversations more. So this is just me giving you preliminaries. So thank you very much. MC, please come forward. You know, whenever, in our university days, whenever we wanted to go and look for beautiful girls, we used to go to, you want to speak, ma'am? Okay. We used to go to Faculty of Arts. They said that engineering had nothing. So we also, they used to tell us that we don't know poetry, we don't know entertainment. But I will shock you, Benin Technical College won several prizes as the best theatrical group, and today they are also going to present a poetry rendition. So technical people also sabi flex. Let me call on the Honorable Commissioner, Dr. John Obiawe, for her remarks before we hear the poetry rendition, and then on to the fireside chat. Quick and sharp, and then we're all away from this place. Thank you very much.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to come back up here to properly acknowledge members of our education ecosystem who contributed to the production of this policy. Our work is a difficult one, and we work a lot. And when people do stuff and they are not duly recognized, it also does not motivate them. I am actually quite pleasantly surprised to see the name of the Ministry of Education on the document. We didn't do the work. They did the work. So in addition to what we did last year, with the approval of His Excellency, was to create a consortium of a TVET consortium comprising of all our agencies and institutions and other MDAs that have any connection to skills. And so they all came together. That process was led by our board of TVET, Dr. Tesia. I want to acknowledge our Polytechnic, our State College of Education, Edo Job, and GIZ, the ever-present GIZ, for working together to put it together. I want to thank you for what you've done, and this is just the first, awesome. Our technical colleges were also involved. Edo State Agency for Mass Education is same. Directorate of Higher Education, our Library Board, of course the State Secondary Education Board, Directorate of Educational Quality and Accountability, our technical schools, Benin Technical College, Utubenu, Eho, Igara, and Afuze. Thank you so much, everyone. This is just the beginning. We have a document. We must now work together to implement successfully. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the Honorable Commissioner. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we will now invite our students from the Benin Technical College to do their poetry rendition. Students from Benin Technical College, please. A round of applause as they come forward.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My names are Ekato Favor. I'm a student from Benin Technical College. All protocol duly observed. I'm here to render my spoken word on the Edo anthem. The ancient city is calling, Edo, the land of black civilization, Edo, the oldest and still existing monarch without retrogression. Let's arise, sons and daughters of the land. Let's rise up for who we are, what we are, where we are, and where we are going. It might seem like things are no longer at ease, but trust me, I won't miss word when I say we are fearless as could be, strong, bold in all aspects you see, tireless and accommodating all in harmony. Even when the foreigners tried to make us divide, we stood our ground and never went apart. Of a truth, in 1897, things fell apart, but our kingdom was restored in its glorious path. The founding fathers have labored, let us now do our part. Beautiful Edo, glorious Edo, beautiful in artwork, culture, and artifacts of old, glorious in conquering of land, because our king is on the throne, and I will unfold the truth and not tales of old. Let's unite and stand with each other, for therein lies our future great for all. For no matter the odds that stand against us, we can only succeed when we love ourselves and fear the Creator. Oh, arise, sons and daughters of the land, our time to serve is now. Though we might be looked upon as a minority, our great and noble deeds was transcended in history. Rich culture, stories of heroes, legacies forever be. Koyo, we greet sons and strangers as we live in peace with brothers and foreigners. We are not perfect, but a people cultured in unity. No pikin go say in mama's soup no sweet. Think about it, my people. Think about a car without a battery. Think about an engine without a flywheel. Think about a farm without a barn. Think about a human without a heart. The heart, the organs that pumps blood to all parts of the body, as small as it is, it's important to the body. So is Edo. We are the heartbeat of Nigeria. Thank you.
Another round of applause. talents abound even in technical colleges. You agree with me?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Obine Fable, and I'm a student from the Benin Technical College. All protocols duly observed. And I'm here to talk about the importance of technical education in business and industries, including job creation. No form of education is lower than the other, but I can rightly say that there is a form of education which is important to the individual, to the state, and to the country at large. We go to school. We pass through school. School passes through us. It is what we achieve in our schools to better our society that counts in the long run. Now, what am I talking about here? I am talking about technical education, a form of education which provides special practical knowledge and skills. It is different from the general education. It is a learner's academic foundation along with technical skills and observation. It makes learners well skilled in their special areas such as agriculture, carpentry and joinery, basic electricity, catering services, etc. It is a hands-on experience on different areas to help prepare us for the real world. Think of it as a high school experience, bringing more values, bridging the gap with no debtor. Technical education contains technology. Technical education is very important for the development of our country. It has a great role to play in skill development and job creation. I know someone might wonder, how does technical skills help in job creation? See, technicians are always needed in every field of constructions. To build factories, buildings, roads, canals, technicians are needed. To wire and distribute electricity, technicians are needed. To cater and do catering activities, you will agree with me that technicians are also needed. And it will surprise you to know that the Benin Technical College is not restricted to work alone. We delve into the arts as well, making us multi-talented in our fields. I believe we deserve an applause for that. Therefore, we can rightly say that the CTE learners are more likely to have the ability to learn real-world skills as part of their education as compared to non-CTE learners. And since a huge percent of technical students enroll in post-secondary education, it is definitely creating a path to college in career success. If a country has sufficient technical hands, its conditions will grow rapidly. Technical education makes a nation rich. If a country has more production of goods, it can feed its people easily. And foreign currencies can be made by selling the extra production to other countries. It can be said that the development of a nation depends on technical hands. If we do not have the required technicians, we have to hire from other countries and have to pay them more money as a salary. Through this, money goes away and the country can't be developed. Think about it, my people. Isn't it better to experiment our career choices now while in high school, so students can learn a lot earlier if the career is a fit? The answer is fairly obvious, don't you think? And I will say this in letters of caps. Technical hands cannot be unemployed. They help in every field, but don't request others for jobs. They can start their business on their own. Technical education makes people independent. If they start their trade, they can provide job opportunities to other educated people. Technical education has helped to solve the problem of unemployment in the society. So, let's talk about the importance of technical education in business and industries. 1. The hardest positions to fill are the technical fields or require a CTE background. 2. Company wants skilled employees, and spending money finding them can cost the company more money in lost productivity. 3. CTE programs connect learners and employers because of their internships, apprenticeships, or job experiences. So here is the bottom line. The economic progress of a nation depends on technical hands. So every country should give a high priority to technical education to uplift the prosperity of the nation. Thank you.
Another round of applause. Technical education makes a nation rich. Beautiful rhymes. Technical hands can never be unemployed. I want to believe you agree with that. Go ahead.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ujadugere Praise. I'm a Tech 1 electrical student of Usubenu Technical College, Ira, Esan Central Local Government Area. My topic is TVET, which means Technical and Vocational Education and Training. I chose this topic because my school is one of the TVET schools in Edo State. TVET, in the heart of learning realm, where paths diverge, lies a beacon of opportunity, the TVET surge, crafting futures with hands, minds aligned in the tapestry of skills, aspirations enshrined. Not bound by ivy towers, but by the sweat of toil, TVET ignites dreams, fuels ambitions, quell. From welding sparks to culinary art finesse, each trade, each skill a testament to progress. In workshops humming with the symphony of creation lies the essence of innovation, a boundless sensation. For here in the crucible of learning's flame lies the promise of a world never quite the same. No ivory pedestal, but a platform of esteem, where craftsmanship and knowledge interweave their theme. From electric currents to architectural designs, TVET blooms a garden of potential divine. So let us champion this beacon of hope, where skills are nurtured, where dreams elope. For here in the tapestry of nations, strong and free, TVET shines bright, the cornerstone of destiny. Thank you.
TVET shines bright, the cornerstone of destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we would want to take a little break now and have group photographs. We would like to request His Excellency may I invite His Excellency the All right, so we would want to deepen the conversation on TVET, and to do that, we would want to have a fireside chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we would want to request the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, North China Construction Company, Dr. Osadebe Osakwe, to please come to the platform. A round of applause for him as he comes forward. Would also like to request the President of Benin Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Bensima, Barrister Austin Ataku, to please come forward. Thank you. Also going to take part in this fireside chat is Professor Ifeoma Mercy Ishugo Abanihe. She is the Registrar and CEO, National Business and Technical Education Board, NABTEB. A round of applause as she comes forward. We also have the pleasure to invite Dr. Shola Okunkolo, the Active Executive Secretary, Edo State Agency for Mass Education. A round of applause, please. Also, to be part of this discussion is Ambassador Dr. Ogemoyi Brightens, the MD, CEO, and Chief Inventor of Brightens Limited. Please, a round of applause as he comes forward. Last but not the least, we want to request Engineer Sylvester Omorui, the Rector, Edo State Polytechnic, to be part of the discussion. A round of applause for him as he comes forward. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hand over to Dr. Tessia, who will lead us in this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we will have it quick and sharp. But let me go off the podium so that you can have them. I'll try to keep it 1 or 2 questions, and please be as straight to the point as possible. Let me start with Dr. Shola Okunkolo, who is the Executive Director of Edo State Agency for Mass Education. Earlier on, a lot was said about youth not in education, employment, or training. And I highlighted some kind of pathway that we can leverage through informal apprenticeships to mainstream these children into technical education formally. Your agency is responsible for that kind of remit too. In what ways do you see alignment between our both agencies, and also can you highlight on efforts that you're making to get this category of young people skilled enough at least to read and write and be ready for us in the technical college system?
Thank you very much, Executive Secretary, and thank you, Excellency. What we have done at the Edo State Agency for Mass Education, quite frankly, we used to say we're Siamese twins, TVET and the Agency for Mass Education. The 2 points where we collaborate very, massively is in the Edo Sabi Street School, which is one of the initiatives that drives mass education. What we basically do at the Edo Sabi Street School is to take education to the streets. We have mobile facilitators and counselors that engage with street children, those who were hitherto, miscreants. But what we have been able to do is to create a pathway for these sets of people. The first pathway is those who have acquired basic education and then want to continue in that direction, i.e. continued education via our evening school. So we've seen some of them proceed to write GS3 exams and write WAEC. But the role that TVET plays is the second pathway, which is skill acquisition. We've had a few of them who have been able to read and write and say, look, I'm not interested in going to school, but I want to be able to do something useful with the education I've acquired. And so in that light, we have TVET come on board with us to get those categories of our learners from our street schools register at our technical colleges. Learn skills, carpentry, electrician, mechanic, and whatever. The second category, or the second way in which we collaborate, is what we call the Edo Sabi Walk. So you have a part of our demography as learners who have been able to acquire education, but then not have the skills. They can read and write now, are doing amazingly well, but then again they say, look, how do we acquire monetizable and sellable skills? That's where again we are collaborating with you actively, and we look forward to a more robust collaboration where we get them to register in the technical colleges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okonkwo. Please put your hands together for her. Alignment and collaboration is key. So by this point, it is very clear that we must work collaboratively across government before we even engage the private sector. There are a lot of alignments that we can leverage to mutually reinforce our programs and interventions to work for the Edo child. Thank you very much, Dr. Okunkolo. But to go further, I would like to ask Benin Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. You are the business membership, the prime business membership organization for organized private sector. And technical skills are good enough. So if someone is a competent mason, is a competent electrician, is a competent electrical installer, these are all valuable. But from our observation, we have seen that there needs to be more. It's not enough to just be competent technically. Could there be more? What is the place of oral communication and presentation skills? What is in place? What is there for collaboration and teamwork, initiative, problem solving, critical thinking, analysis? Are these valuable skills that will complement technical skills in the workplace?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, Commissioner for Education, and everyone seated here. Thank you all for being here. We cannot shy from the fact that we need these skills. And these skills, for a very long time, have not been there. When I was growing up, I knew that some of these skills we are talking about now, we had them here, but they were not of the right quality, and most times they were imported from neighboring states. And it has been so for a very long time. It's been mentioned here today that if you are in the building sector, for example, what we observe now is that all the artisans you will need for a good job, they are definitely not from here. And that's a fact. Now, for us to be able to have these skills, the question is, are things like communication, if they are relevant, collaboration, if they are relevant. If those things are not relevant, why are we here today? The very first answer to that is the state government knows that these things are relevant. That's why the government is making all the effort, making all the investment to bring all of us together, to bring children together and begin to discuss this problem. So that in the course of discussing it, we will find the solutions to this problem. That's why we are doing all of this. So basically, communication is key towards identifying this problem and towards finding the solution to the problem. That's exactly what we are doing here today.
Thank you very much, Benzema. Please put your hands together. According to Benzema, skills are needed beyond just technical skills. It is essential that as we train these young people, they are able to imbibe some other complementary skills that make them better in the workplace. Now, I would like to ask NABTEB, National Business and Technical Examinations Board. You are the prime assessment body and examinations body in Nigeria for technical and vocational education. And you offer the National Technical Certificate, the National Business Certificate, Advanced and Basic. And in recent times, you are the general awarding body for the National Skills Qualifications Framework. As you are setting out standards and curriculum for technical areas, are you considering that there are these kinds of soft skills or complementary skills? In recent times, the City of London Incorporated said that those are old-fashioned. We now refer to them as fusion skills. Are these represented in occupational standards and in the curriculum so that they are part of our teaching and learning process?
Let me start
Let me start by introducing NAPTEP afresh, because I discovered that many of us we are not familiar with NAPTEP. Some people call us NAPTEC. Some people call us NBT. It's National Business and Technical Examinations Board. And what we do is that we assess learners, because it's an assessment body, we assess learners leading to the award of National Technical Certificate, National Business Certificate, and in the advanced level 2. And majorly in the skill area, we have what is called the modular trade certificates for those that are in the formal sector that cannot go into the level of NTC. They have the privilege of having a certificate in a module. That is, a module is a body of knowledge in an area where they can be self-sufficient, they can stand on their own and leverage on the existing work that are around them and make a living. As regards your question, let me set it right that we don't set standard, we don't set curriculum. We work on the existing curriculum, we work on the existing standard given to us by the regulatory body, the NBT, and that's one. Two, I was in Abuja last week with the national policy, stakeholders, the national policy of education on skills development and its ecosystem. And it is from there, from the framework, it is agreed that because they are developing policy framework for all assessment bodies and skill acquisition centers and training institutions. So it was agreed that these fusion skills should be added. There are 7 strategic objectives. First of the objective is integrating skills development and its ecosystems within the framework of the school curriculum, and so like that. And so they agreed that the fusion, all these fusion skills, like the soft skills, should be added and be part of all the school curriculum. Okay. And from there, we, NAPTEP, can take it up because it's now becoming a standard for us to follow.
So, these soft skills, complementary skills or fusion skills have become an integrated part of the curriculum.
Yes.
And I think the next conversation will be how do we ensure that we're improving on those particular skill areas. But I'll come to you again as I go to North China Construction Company. So North China Construction Company, you are a massive building and construction company, and you have interacted with a lot of artisans, technicians, and engineers across board. And you are in the business of making profit from your products and services. In what ways do you think we can sufficiently ensure that we send apprentices and trainees to you? Okay, in what ways can we do that without a major disruption to your already existing work process? So your focus is to deliver on your projects to quality and make money. Now we are saying we want you to also take on this responsibility of having apprentices and trainees within this workspace. Can you highlight those areas that you think would create disruption to your work and those areas that you think your work will complement that process?
Thank you. Well, everything is complementary. We are working, I like the word that has been used repeatedly, ecosystem. It is very important. We are all creating value within the ecosystem. We need to invest. So we don't see those things as distractions. I give you an example. Most of the people we invite to work for us, that is Nigerian. That is why I'm very excited about the approach Edo State is taking, because I also have experiences from other states. Edo State is taking the hard way, the narrow way, and that is what leads to life. Because what other states do, most of the states, they just gather people, they say they are doing skill development, they share money among them, and they all go home. That is not the right way. So if the government is doing this, if the government is taking the hard way, doing it the hard way, it behoves on us who are in the private sector to also key into what the government is doing and make the sacrifices. That is as simple as that. That's what we are doing. Because even in the technical college we are trying to remodel and rebuild, you invite people, you show them what to do. When it comes to actual doing, they run away. So you see the number of people we have invited to work for us, and they run away from the project. And it's like that, all the projects we are doing, because we are not going to lower our standards. So the best thing for us is to incorporate and train them. We even want to, from our Chinese office and what we are doing in Nigeria, we also want to even set up a school to train all those artisans.
Set that school up in Edo State.
So, in summary, part of the things we must do as part of this ecosystem is not a distraction, because over time, we've trained so many of them. Over time, they become proficient, and it is better for us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sadebe. Please, a round of applause for him. We must make the necessary sacrifices to give space for our young people within our production facilities. The value proposition is that when you train, the value gets back to you. You will have a better quality workforce that you can hire. At this point, lastly, I will go to Ambassador Genwenyi Brightens, inventor and entrepreneur. So I would like to ask you that entrepreneurship question. You know, we are training young people. Some of them will show the aptitude for entrepreneurship, meaning they want to be self-employed after their training. And if you go by all evidence presented so far from skills development interventions that have happened over the last 10, 15 years in Nigeria, it is said that self-employment is the most certain, sustainable pathway to go. How do we ensure that we are training technical hands in our technical college that will also be competent at running a business? Because this is completely a different thing entirely. What has been your experience?
First, I want to thank His Excellencies and the Commissioner of Education and TVET for creating this platform in the first place, and everybody here present. You see, what is in the mind of an average student or an artisan or a young entrepreneur? The end point is, how will they become self-dependent, self-reliant? In the process, how will they become self-employed and become self-entrepreneurs that can put food on their own table? The end point is, how do I make money for myself? So what we do at Brightens Electronics is this. Over time, we've discovered two things. One, the numbers of people pulling out from the universities yearly, waiting for government to create employment for them without the need of them looking inward and asking themselves, what can I do outside this certificate or this paper qualification? It's why we looked into what we call certificate. What can you really do as an individual? If I take my company as an example, we've seen cases where people who graduate from some field, like electrical engineering, by the time you engage them in practical-oriented fieldwork practicals, they start lagging behind. And then how do we bridge those who went to school and those who who couldn't afford to go to a formal school is the reason for this entrepreneurship artisan training program. And in our company, the only way we established a fact that this knowledge is successfully transferred, for example, in the building of an inverter machine to get renewable energy through your solar panels, we will tell the candidate, this machine, you are going to build it from scratch to finish on supervision. Then at the end of the training, before a certificate is issued, that machine that was assembled by that individual will be dismantled by his own colleague who came around the time he also came to register for the program. So the question now is, if you truly were the person who designed or fabricated this device, you should be able to assemble it within a short period of time. So at the end of the day, what do we do? When they are done with the programs, we first employ them. We take them as human resources to establish that if you are not good enough to go out there and set up your own company as a self-employed individual, taking you as a human resource personnel for us will become a disaster if that knowledge was not successfully transferred. So what we do is, you work with us for a period of time. We see that whatsoever you have learned, you're actually good in it. You can actually do it unsupervised. And then because we know there's a problem with getting money to set up your own business, we give them some period of time, maybe years, 1 year, 2 years, to gather funds from the work they've been doing, from the labor they've gathered before we allow them to finally open their own self-employed businesses.
At the heart of this is capacity to do, certificate. If you know how to do and you are competent, it will not be such a tall order.
True, and that is exactly what we do.
Please put your hands together. Ambassador Ogenwanye of Brightons. So let me go to the rector. Let me go to the rector of Edo State Polytechnic. Not all these young people will become entrepreneurs. Some of them will be interested in further education. What is the place for someone who learns through the apprenticeship system that we're setting out? Is this kind of person welcome for tertiary level education in Edo State Polytechnic?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency. Like my brother said, this is an ecosystem, and we already have each of these gaps already closed on its own. It depends on the individual. If somebody go through this apprenticeship and have the intention to further his or her education, the person can be linked with the Edo Sabiri for the formalization of the person's basic education, for which he can also now sit for the basic certificate, which is the KUSAT. Then with the professional certificate, the NSQF certification, about the full certificate as O level, then the person can be incorporated into the Polytechnic. And depends also on the area that the person is skilled, because we have two windows. In order to create more accessibility, we now also have the open distance flexible learning as accredited by MBT. So there are some of all these skilled learners who would have become an entrepreneur. They don't want to come to the comfort of the classroom, that they can access our open distance learning, where they can still be fully
satisfied.
So you have heard it all. Take the story round. You can get on our apprenticeship program, our work-based learning program, and you will acquire competent technical skills and at the same time gain national recognition. And if you so choose to go into higher education, our Edo State Polytechnic welcomes you, and I'm very sure our universities too. At this point, let me thank you panelists for making our time and for your insightful interaction. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Please put your hands together for them as we take our leave. Your Excellency, I think we should have group photographs and allow you attend to. Let's stay here. Please, Balogun. Mr. Opaseki, please. Mrs. Akirinade. Yes, you can wait. Presco Yongzing, please join us. Royal Highness, please join us. Yes, we can stay.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. This juncture, I will be calling on representatives of organizations mentioned here for goodwill messages. So, may I request the representative of Benin Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, represented by the Vice President, Ben Sima, in the person of Barrister Alex Egosa Ogunwaye. A round of applause for him, please.
Once again, good afternoon.